Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's a man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like, would Big Mike kill you for that?
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries. But
yeah, she was going under.
Yeah.
She just sees these big black arms coming over her face. Big Mike.
Bro.
Oh, no.
When the pressure turns up, the truth has nowhere to hide. And Joe Rogan isn't buying the polished fairy tale version of Michelle Obama. He cuts through the clean PR image, calls out the contradictions, and pulls back the curtain on a carefully built legacy everyone was told to admire. From luxury living, dressed up as struggle, to empowerment turned into a product, nothing gets a free pass. This isn't polite applause pretending to be critique. It's a raw, honest breakdown of a story America was pushed to accept without asking real questions. Michelle Obama was sold as the most relatable figure, yet she lives a life 99% of people could never touch.
It's calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, you know, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a bunch of rich people.
One moment, she's the Harvard law grad. Next, she's the face of kale chips, designer yoga gear, and sneakers that cost more than most people make in a week, all while preaching sacrifice to everyone else. Rogan didn't waste a second. He went straight at it, pointing out the surreal gap between her life and Martha's Vineyard, and telling working moms to pack carrot sticks and meditate through 2 jobs and rising costs. Then she took the First Lady's spotlight and flipped it into a luxury lifestyle brand, quietly implying that enlightenment comes with a private chef, security detail, and a helicopter on standby. Rogan couldn't ignore the irony. This is the same person who turned the White House garden into a personal photo op while lecturing the country on childhood obesity. If this video hits hard, hit subscribe and tap the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
Almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
While big tech and the media kept feeding the public endless feel-good illusions, the only thing shrinking was the truth. Then came that infamous line everyone remembers, "When they go low, we go high." Delivered with precision, it was meant to signal grace, but Joe Rogan shredded it like wilted lettuce. Behind the scenes, Michelle was playing political dodgeball at an elite level, tossing subtle shots while flashing a smile polished enough to hide quiet digs and carefully calculated victim mode. On the surface, it looked flawless, but underneath was another tightly scripted, tone-deaf display of high-class hypocrisy. Every moment became a lesson, each one reminding the rest of us exactly where we stood. Every line dripped with moral superiority, like an endless TED Talk nobody asked for, filmed in spaces staged to feel safe and far removed from real life. Rogan didn't skip a beat, pointing out how someone claiming to speak for the people somehow always ended up talking at them. And that empowerment? It came with merchandise, a podcast, a documentary, and a Netflix deal. Because nothing screams authenticity like a multi-million-dollar media empire built on curated struggles and filtered memories. Then came the school lunch crusade.
Or first woman
We already
president.
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all know.
A whole generation still shudders at the memory of mushy broccoli blobs and cardboard chicken nuggets. Michelle promised healthier meals, but what kids actually got felt more like cafeteria punishment. Joe Rogan couldn't stop laughing at the idea of government-run nutrition plans. It wasn't just flavor that disappeared, common sense went missing too, bulldozed by a mission that confused control with care. Then came her autobiography, crashing in like a tidal wave of self-celebration. Every chapter felt like a shrine, every line soaked in carefully timed struggle designed to pull maximum sympathy and endless media praise. Rogan tore into it, because when Michelle Obama left the White House, she didn't step back, she stepped onto a throne built from admiration, memoir sales, and unchecked influence. She lingered as a shadow of the administration, reappearing in headlines, speaking from the sidelines like royalty who never really gave up the crown. Rogan sliced through that polished image faster than a jiu-jitsu takedown. This wasn't just post-White House commentary, it was a full-scale media push wrapped in soft pastels and pearl necklaces.
Her husband's riches, they're definitely billionaires by now. The house in Martha's Vineyard, which is, I think, $20 million out on the yachts of David. What happened to me? Why doesn't anyone think about what happened to me during my... I'm enraged. I'm almost speechless at how ridiculously out of touch this person.
And then came the identity politics parade she helped supercharge. Michelle Obama didn't just join, it was her show. Suddenly, every topic became a lecture on race, gender, and emotions. Joe Rogan tore through that narrative like a storm tearing apart a flimsy prop. Instead of raising the conversation, she buried it under layers of passive-aggressive lectures and perfectly timed outrage that felt rehearsed. The promise of unity vanished somewhere between another high-profile interview and endless reminders of how disappointing America supposedly was. Rogan pointed out that her version of empowerment always came wrapped in guilt, like inspiration wasn't allowed unless it came with a scolding. And if she truly hated politics, why was she circling it nonstop? Why did every speech, panel, or opinion piece feel like a soft launch for a future campaign? Rogan didn't have to guess, the political play was obvious. She mastered the reluctant hero act like a chess player already planning the final move. And then there's the lineup of mansions from DC to Martha's Vineyard, where the person claiming to understand middle America lives in homes so exclusive most people couldn't even find them. On Zillow.
2011 thing where Obama allowed people to use propaganda against United States citizens.
Hillary Clinton is and has been an outstanding public servant.
What was done then under Obama, effective repeal of it, was called the Smith Modernization Act.
She was a great Secretary of State for me.
At the time, the media and media control was seen as the linchpin crux of winning the Cold War, piping in pro-U.S. media influence.
The policy of my administration is to encourage transparency. Why my emails, the BlackBerry that I carry around, all those records are available.
Congress recognized the Frankensteinian monster they were creating by authorizing a covert, permanent Department of Dirty Tricks, and this is their phrase, not mine.
Hillary has instructed those emails that had to do with official business need to be disclosed.
To infiltrate and co-opt the universities, the unions, the media, the politicians, the judges, the whole swarm.
Joe couldn't stop laughing, because nothing says down to earth like sweeping drone shots of your private beach compound. All that was missing was a monk and a butler strolling by with a basket of kale. Then came the endless complaints about how hard life was in the White House. Rogan ripped that narrative to shreds. Glam teams on call, a personal gym a few steps away, and global admiration most celebrities never touch. And somehow she framed herself as the ultimate victim. There was no hardship, just non-stop luxury. A media dream team, and probably the best lighting setup in presidential history. Then Joe landed the real punch. And Michelle's message boiled down to one thing. You can do anything, unless you're not her. All the talk about empowerment and representation, the door she claimed to open slammed shut behind her, sealed with velvet ropes and guarded to keep anyone else out. She wasn't building a ladder, she was polishing a pedestal. One selfie, one speech, one perfectly packaged moment at a time. When it came to selective outrage, Joe didn't hold back. She stayed silent when speaking up could cost her, but the moment there was political value, she became the loudest voice in the room. Pick any hot-button issue, free speech, education, borders, and watch it dissolve into vague feel-good lines and symbolic gestures that changed nothing. Rogan called it exactly what it was, performative politics, designed for applause, not results. Michelle wasn't chasing debate, she was chasing attention, and the media kept feeding it, treating her like she was walking on water, never stopping to check how deep that water really was.
They gave that speech when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, fuck this. Mm-hmm. And then they were, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped
a war from happening.
Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect Libyan.
Critics were treated like heretics, as if her words were divine decrees instead of the work of a polished brand team. Rogan wasn't buying this spiritual empowerment packaging. He saw a corporate product wrapped in inspirational quotes, pushed by people who dodged accountability but thrived on applause. Even the America's Mom image became a punchline, preaching resilience while insisting an entire generation was too broken to recover. And then came the kicker. Speeches about overcoming struggle delivered from a luxury hotel suite, surrounded by a 10-person staff with a private jet waiting outside.
Where he repeated that lie about Donald Trump talking about white supremacists, saying they're very fine people on both sides. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
That's crazy. I have never seen that last.
That's cognitive dissonance taken to the extreme. And Joe turned every one of those contradictions into a punch sharp enough to cut stone. Now, the whispers about a Michelle 2028 run are getting louder, and even the hint of it had Joe dripping with sarcasm. This is the same person who claims she values privacy, yet shows up dancing at award shows, hosts multi-million-dollar podcasts, and rotates through every major talk show. That isn't reluctance, it's rehearsed resistance. A carefully timed pause before the next big move. And if you dare question any of it, suddenly you're labeled racist, or too clueless to understand what's really happening.
J-Mo.
We have to have done Big Mike before.
I don't think we did
I don't
Big
know
Mike.
if we did. Tim Dillon definitely did.
We did Big Mike with Tim.
That Tim Dillon's video where he was saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her cock out and China would just give up. I was fucking wheezing. I couldn't breathe.
Michelle isn't some untouchable symbol of hope. She's a brand. And Joe tore the label right off. What's underneath isn't pure inspiration. It's ideology dressed in casual language, activism wrapped in sanctimony, and motivation served with an unspoken moral bill attached. She sold herself as a mirror for the nation, but the reflection staring back is carefully curated, polished, confident, and delivering a rehearsed TED-style lecture on why everyone else should try harder, like her. The idea that she's the true voice of the people would be comedy gold if it weren't so meticulously staged. Rogan didn't just reject the narrative, he dismantled the illusion piece by piece, exposing the wires, the gears, and the soft background music beneath a story edited to perfection. And the wild part? This still isn't the final chapter. Michelle keeps climbing, stacking the empire, cashing in on packaged outrage and neatly bottled nostalgia. But the shine is fading, the applause isn't as loud, the crowd is starting to squint, and Joe's roast is only just getting started. Every stage she steps on now feels like an award show where she's the only nominee. Endless applause for the same recycled wisdom, repackaged as if it were some divine revelation.
Kids, were they private or public? Like, when was that? When he was a senator?
I don't know. I just know that
he was a senator, right?
Yes,
before he became president,
for sure.
So
I don't,
went law school, Senate.
I have no issue because I want to live. I have no issue with Big Mike. I don't care that they killed that sex slave in Martha's Vineyard. That's what happens to sex slaves. They drown in ponds. That's what happens. You fuck the ruling class, you drown a pond. That's what happens. If you get your little mouthy, you go into the pond. I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem. I think it's good. I actually think it's good. I think it makes our country fun. I think it makes us unique. I think Putin and them are scared of that shit.
They do it all the time.
I think Putin and the Chinese are like, you don't know what's going on there. Because they got people that maybe they're men, maybe they're women, we don't know.
She glides in, wrapped in designer humility, dishing out life lessons that sound like fortune cookie wisdom, rewritten by a motivational speaker with a full ghostwriting squad. And yet, the audience reacts like they're witnessing the second coming of Aristotle. Meanwhile, Rogan is busy peeling back the glossy layers, revealing little more than overpriced fluff sprayed with political perfume. Michelle has perfected the art of saying everything and nothing at the same time. One moment, she tells people they're unstoppable. The next, she insists they're trapped by forces beyond their control. Motivational whiplash at its finest. She shifts from cheerleader of grit to soft-spoken messenger of defeat so smoothly, you barely notice you've just been handed a sermon on surrender. Jo tore into that contradiction like an MMA fighter spotting a sloppy mistake, pointing out how she praises strength while cushioning every struggle with excuses and trending hashtags. And, of course, there's her signature move, selective vulnerability, polished to gold standard perfection.
Run for president?
Yeah, I've heard you say I think Michelle should run.
She could win. She could win, I think. I think if she ran, she could win.
Did you ever run for office?
No.
I have to ask it.
No.
No kind of office.
No.
I don't think she wants that, though.
No,
I don't
I
think she
guess.
wants that in her life.
Just-
The bull that they dealt with over the 8 years when he was president.
Because I've got these two young people at home. Being the kids, the daughters of a president, just think about it. Not so easy.
That job for anybody that really good at it.
Yeah, I trust the person who doesn't want the job.
She talks about struggle with so much polish. You'd think every hardship had a publicist on retainer. Every pain is focus grouped, trimmed, and timed. Just raw enough to feel relatable, never raw enough to crack the myth. That isn't honesty. It's brand management tuned to a sympathetic key, backed by a 7-figure royalty check. Behind a curtain, Jo called it exactly what it was, less about being real and more about rehearsing realness until it sells. And even now, Michelle's narrative machine runs smoother, louder, and more insulated than ever.
Candid conversations with Tulsi Gabbard about what it was like.
It's a disservice to the American people that former President Obama's office and others who are criticizing the transparency that is being delivered by releasing these documents. They are doing a disservice to the American people and trying to deflect away from their culpability in what is a historic scandal.
She's a person, tries to be friends with everybody, tries to reach across the aisle. She's got that whole...
She didn't rise above politics. She packaged it, bottled it, and sold it to people who never thought to ask for a refund. But now the curtain is starting to fall. The act isn't over, but the audience is finally catching glimpses of the script, and Joe Rogan is just getting started. For more takes like this, subscribe. We deliver raw, unfiltered political news every single day.